Peace, family. Good morning. How you doing? It's Mr. R2 here at Consistency is Currency, your morning podcast choice. And this microphone is tripping. But we're gonna work it out. We're gonna push through. We're gonna persevere. So it is July. I had to look at the calendar. Like I really didn't know what today was. I really didn't. This is July 12th. Already tapping into our mid month. And again, like always show gratitude because you don't have to be where you are, but I am always going to show it regardless. I don't care what day it is. Of course, during the weekday, Monday through Friday, 0730 right here on your podcast of choice. It is Tuesday. It's almost the mid-month, so everybody that's watching right now, I say good morning to you. I say I thank you for being on this side of the dirt because we all have the ability to live, thrive, and survive. Because if you are able to see another day, if you're able to breathe life one more time, that means you have one more time to make it better. You have one more time to make it bigger and better and begin to grow and put yourself in a position to win. So today we're going to be talking about between now and next. Between now and next. So good morning to you, Miss Selena. Appreciate you for saying it back. But the other three, if I say good morning, you can say it back because I'm alive and I appreciate you for being alive too. So good morning. We're talking about between next and now. I'm gonna tell you where it came from. So I was listening to another podcast. Transparent moment. So I'm fasting, right? So I'm doing a 10-day fast, absolute fast with just drink water. There's no food intake at all, just water, some electrolytes a little bit too, but just water. And today is day 2. For those who have ever fasted before, you already know the first 3 days. For me, I can't speak for you. I know for me, the first 3 days is terrible. It's hard. it just feels like you're hungry for everything. I mean, everything moving, you feel like you just want to grab it and eat. So yesterday, my focus yesterday was just sitting still in my fast in that day. Today, my focus is really on reading. So read a couple of excerpts, read a couple of pages in some books that I have. So today's my focus is reading. So y'all help me along, cheer me along. I got 10 days. And that's straight 10 days, just water. Um, so it's more spiritual and as well as physical, but I'm going to get through it. And with you, we're going to get through it together. All right. So between now and next, I was listening to a podcast and they were talking, and this particular person said it. I was like, oh man, that's deep. Let me go back and listen to that again, between now and next, because I've never thought to put those two words together, between now and next. But putting them together now allow me to see that there's work to do, and we all have work to do. But are we willing to do the work? Are we willing to take our time during the process of work in order for us to reach that particular goal? That's what between now and next is going to do. So let's go ahead and open it up so we can begin tap. So what I want you to do, again, like always, go ahead and take this live and share it on your news feed or share it inside of a Facebook group, because I know today is really going to touch someone and tap into someone, um, tap into their innermost abilities and the capabilities that they have. So be a blessing to someone and not just you. So just go ahead and share it. When you share it, just go ahead and put the word done. All right. So between next and now, go ahead and put between next and now in the chat, because I want you to begin to open up your minds and open up um, your subconscious to receive it, because there is a space between next and now. And in that space between next and now, that's where you look at, where am I at right now in this present moment? So for those that know the platform, you're going to get the word, you're going to get the definition of the words and inversion and all this other stuff. So let's go ahead and tap into it. So the definition, yes, I pulled up the definition of the word next. Like, really? You're going to look up the word next? Yes, because what I found thus far, as I pull words up and go into definitions, I'm learning more about words and the definition of them because I'm intentionally doing it. And as I'm intentionally doing it, I am learning more about the word itself and how it is used and how it could be used and utilized all at the same time. So the definition of the word next, it says out of a time or season, coming immediately after the time of writing or speaking. I'm going to say it again. Out of a time of season, coming immediately after the time of writing or speaking. And the inversion on this is red over white, which is of a time or season. So look at this for what it is. You know, people say, I'm up next, or I'm next, or what I want to do next, or this is what I've been working on for my next level. But you have to understand that next is a time or season. It is a time or season. It's not something that just automatically there's a click of the finger, the next thing, like, bow, you're in that next. It is of a time or season. And I'm sure we've all heard, write the vision and make it plain. So if next is to come, it comes immediately after the time of writing or after the time of speaking it into existence. So after you have written that thing down and after you have spoken that thing into existence, it is a time or a season for it to come to pass with what you want. So now let's go into now. The definition, one of the definitions of now, it says at the present time or moment, right? At the present time or moment. That means my right now is my present. My what's next is in season. My what's next is of a time. Because remember, it says of a time or season. And this now says at the present time or moment. So it might not happen when you want it. It might not happen right now. It might not happen tomorrow, but it's going to happen when it's in season. It's going to happen when it is of that moment. And that's what we have to pay attention to and understand, because when it's in between next and now, that means that that's where the work is. The work didn't finish just because you started on your path, or the work didn't finish just because you started the process. The work didn't finish just because you felt you was in that moment. The work has just begun. You're between your next and your now. It's not you being lost because you know where you are, but you're still working on it. You're still putting yourself in a position to be prepared for the season. You're still putting yourself in a position to understand, if this is going to immediately happen, then I must understand that there is writing that I must do. There is some speaking into existence that I must do in order for it to come to pass, in order for that time to be in its moment, or in order for that season to be in its moment. So as we take this deep dive into understanding between the next and now, I want you to look at, where are you at right now in your headspace? Where are you at right now with your desires? Where are you at right now with the steps that you take that's moving you forward? And when you understand where you are right now, and you have written those things down, or you've spoken those things out loud, so you can hear it, so you can believe it, so you see it, understand there's something that you have to begin to then understand. Because between your next and now, there may be a level of discomfort, some frustration, some dissatisfactions, or some sort of lack of enjoyment, because frustration is also a sign of change. Because we may look at the word frustration and just be totally just thrown out of whack because we are so upset with what is going on right now. But understand that frustration could also be a sign of change. That's like being in a there is a disruption that is going on, but that disruption can also be that sign of change. Because when the seasons change, the previous weapons that you use in that previous season is ineffective. So that process that you used in your old season might not be relevant to right now. It might not be the type of weapon that you need in order for you to survive, to get yourself to the next day, or to survive, to get yourself to the next moment, or to survive, to get yourself into the next time. So when you look at the season that you're in, you're going to have to apply new things in a new season. Apply new weapons, apply new way of seeing things, apply new way of doing things. Because as you understand between your next and your now, that's where the work is. And when you understand that, you really begin to tap into your season versus your time. So a question for you, where are you at right now? Are you in your season just for you? This is your answer, and how you answer it is how you answer it. Are you in your season, or are you in your time? Or are you waiting for your time, or are you waiting for your season? Because there's a confusion between the concept of season and time. And it can definitely cause some confusion, because for every season, there is a set of activities. For everything, there is a time. I'm going to say that again. For every season, there is a set of activities. For everything, there is a time. And within every season, there is an appointed time. That means there is something that you should be doing, like right now. Yes, right now, right now. Yes, right now. So because there is appointed time in within the season, you must acknowledge that I should be doing this, because if I ever want to get this done, I must acknowledge where I am right now, and I must begin to activate and be aggressive in my activities if I ever be within that season. Because the fact that you're in your season does not necessarily mean that everything will automatically fall into place. I think a lot of times we get caught up in that misconception. I'm in my season, so everything's gonna be great. Not necessarily. It's like trying to use old weapons into today's fight. So because you're in your season, you think things are automatically going to come into place. No, there's going to be new troubles that you're going to see. There's going to be new trials that you're going to deal with. There's going to be new conversations that you're going to have with people, or you're going to have with yourself. So it's not all automatically going to fall into place. There are new things that you're going to deal with. And knowing where you are presently can actually set you up for your next. Knowing where you are presently can set you up for your next. That's the inversion of now and next. Knowing where I am presently can set me up for my next, because I didn't fall for the okie doke, or I can foresee this because I've seen it before. My experience allowed me to see what my next is by being able to move around these obstacles that I see in front of me. And there is an appointed time for everything. But there is also a season for every activity. And because there is a season for every activity, each season brings training of its own. And passing through that training process releases things in its own time. That means as you're learning these lessons, when you're in your now, that is, those lessons that you learn can actually be the training that you need to be that much more resilient when you face that thing again, when you're dealing with that thing again, when you feel like the time is, this is just a hard time for me right now. You know how many times that you have had hard times, but yet you're still here to speak about those hard times that you did in the past? Maybe it's because you're still trying to use the same weaponry that you did to fight those hard times in your new season. So therefore, the training that you did, that you have overcome those obstacles again, those obstacles can become doors of opportunity. So because you have overcame those particular obstacles, the doors of opportunity allow you to be trained to see those things again and to tell those things that this is just the season that I'm in, but I'm still going to remain active. This is a season that I'm in, and I'm going to create activities that is going to allow me to be able to fight if I see that thing again. And as you get to that point, you must understand that you got to begin to tap and release. Because sometimes the key to your next and now is patience. But are you willing to wait? Are you willing to wait to get to your next by doing what is required of you to do now? It's like a tree, that bears fruit. Because if that tree does not have a bountiful harvest, that doesn't mean the whole tree gets thrown away. That just means that the tree didn't bear uh, its fruit during the harvest or during that season. That means the tree still has work to do. That fruit will come to pass, but just not in this season. You don't chop down a whole apple tree just because the apples wasn't good to taste. No, you prepare it for the next season. So stop beating yourself over the head because you feel like I'm not in my season, so I might as well scrap the whole thing and just kill it. No, you're using old weaponry in the right now time. That means be patient. Don't be discouraged in the process of waiting, because that discouragement could also be the self-sabotage, and you want to just begin to just start digging a whole tree up because you're discouraged on how the tree didn't bear the fruits of your labor. Maybe you tried to force the season before the season was ready. How many of you have tried to eat a banana that wasn't right, or tried to eat an apple that wasn't right? It didn't taste good, right? So why are you trying to force things to manifest itself in your life, or force goals to be manifest in your life, and you haven't even done your research yet? That's you operating out of season. You're not being patient enough to learn that it's going to take more work before this ever come to pass. It's going to take more work before these things begin to grow and manifest itself. Because the only one who is responsible for waiting and releasing those things is you. It's not your mama, it's not your daddy, it's not your best friend, it's not your accountability partner, it's not your business partner, it's you. Because there are some things that you're going to have to release, like, you know what, I'm not good at this. Let me go ahead and find somebody else who's better than me at this. I'm patient enough to wait for my season. And sometimes what we release can actually be what was needed in order for us to step into our appointed time, in order for us to step into our season. We may have to get out of our own way. We may have to release ourselves from that mental turmoil. We may have to release ourselves from that mental anguish. We may have to release ourselves from that self-sabotage. We may have to release ourselves from trying to force ourselves to be something that we're not. So we may have to release ourselves in order for us to get to that appointed season. And when we get there and we're and you're getting to that space, you're going to have to be okay with saying no. I mean, it's easy to talk about saying no to everybody else. Can you say no to you? Can you say no? I mean, I heard plenty of times people say, oh, it's hard for me to say no. You haven't said no to you. Are you strong enough to say no? Are you strong enough to know what your gifts are? Are you strong enough to know what your talents are? Trying to do everything, but developing and designing what it is for you to say no to you. Because sometimes you just need to say no to things. And knowing how to say no to yourself. Because saying no simply allows you to say yes to the important things. Some seasons are just extra and full of things. But when you get to the point to when you can actually say no to you, it presents the ultimate opportunity for you to learn how to say yes and to develop yourself and to put yourself in that moment to grow into what that next level is for you. So between your next and now, you must develop patience and release. Don't get so frustrated that you're no longer willing to grow, and learn how to say no to you, because ultimately, when it is time for you to say yes, you may be in your season. All right. So y'all be blessed. And remember, right here at Consistency is Currency, your morning podcast of choice. I definitely thank you and I appreciate you for being here. Y'all be blessed. Peace.